For the first 2 years of business, everything felt like an emergency. I had to do it right then and there, or else I wouldn't be successful, or else my customers wouldn't be happy, or else people wouldn't think that I'm a good coach. I would not even get out of bed in the morning before I started to work. I would wake up, I would grab my phone, and I would go straight to either Instagram or straight to Voxer, which is where I would communicate with my clients at the time, and I would start my workday. And it was destroying my nervous system to be in a constant state of emergency. Everything in my business felt rushed, and it felt like everything was leaving me and nothing was coming towards me, nothing was flowing to me. And what is wild is that in order to stop running my business like an emergency, I didn't do anything big, anything time consuming. I didn't change how I market. I didn't take on less clients. I didn't even change my offer suite. But the changes that I did make, and there are 10 of them that I'll break down for you, have completely changed how my business feels. From the outside looking in, you would honestly have no idea. You would have zero idea that anything changed because, again, my business looks the same. But being in my business, you know that everything has changed because my business feels completely different. I truly know, and it's because of these changes, I truly know and feel that everything is flowing towards me and never away from me. I do not feel rushed or treat my business like an emergency room. I have so much peace and so much flow, and that is what I want for you. So, I want to share these 10 things that I stopped doing to stop making my business and running my business feel like an emergency. Not because you need to do these exact 10 things, but hopefully to give you some ideas of how you can feel less rushed and more in a flow when it comes to the feeling of being in your business. And this very first thing that I'm going to share with you is something that I recommend every single person do, no matter what your niche is, no matter what type of business you're running. It is probably, if I had to give you one thing, if you're like, hey, just give me one thing, Maya, one thing that has completely changed your business to make it feel less like an emergency, it is this: deleting the email app off of my phone. I had an addiction to checking it because I felt like I had to reply to every email that came in, whether that was an inquiry from a potential client, whether that was someone who already was one of my clients who was reaching out. Maybe they had a question, maybe they had a tech issue. I felt like I had to reply in that exact moment that that email came in, or else people would be angry. And that is so far from the truth. But when I had my email app on my phone, even if I had set time limits, I set time limits on it, and I found myself breaking those time limits over and over and over again because I was like, oh, well, I have a few seconds, so let me just check my email. No, 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 no. Delete it off of your phone. I have it deleted off my phone. I go onto my desktop to check it, and I only check it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I don't even check it every single day on my desktop. And guess what? My business has not burned down. People are not mad. People are not in my emails being like, oh my gosh, why didn't you respond 3 seconds after I sent this email? But that is how I truly felt when I had the email app on my phone. And another thing too with the email app on my phone is I became obsessed with checking my notifications of how much money or how many sales I was making. And I became obsessed with that number, so much so that I think I was gripping onto that so tightly that that alone was wrecking my nervous system of like, oh my gosh, like, have I made a sale this hour? Have I made a sale today? How much money am I, like, I was like so obsessed on that. And don't get me wrong, it is important to know how much money you're making. It's important to, have sales that are coming in consistently in your bit. Like, all of that is important, but there's the difference between checking and knowing those things versus like being obsessed with those things and having it to get to the point where it is no longer healthy for you. And I'm not saying that that is the case for you just because you have the email app on your phone. Again, I'm speaking from my own personal experience, but I think that there is only good that will happen when you delete the email app off of your phone, even if you don't feel like you check things obsessively like I was. I highly recommend doing it. Do it for even just a month and then report back and tell me how much it's changed things, because I have a little inkling that it will have changed a lot of things for you. All right, number two is I set time limits on my apps, and I also brick my phone. And the time limits I set on the apps where I don't like find myself frequently going to, but the ones that I brick my phone. And if you're not familiar with the concept of a brick is literally a company, and they will, if you order it, I can't remember how much it cost. I want to say it was like only like $20 or something like that. But you order it, they ship it into the mail. and it's literally a brick. Like it looks like a little black brick that you can have anywhere in your house, and you tap your phone onto it and it will restrict your apps. And it's similar to a time limit, except for that the only way for you to restrict those apps is for you to then tap your phone again onto this brick. And so it does like put an additional barrier to you actually unlocking those apps. And it really has made me be more intentional with how I use the apps that I'm using, and also to like helping me to like break habits. Like I do find myself definitely in certain situations of like, oh, like I'm bored, like let me just pull out my phone and like click into here. And like I've even found myself having prior to the brick, and this is why I actually bought the brick, was because I would even find myself breaking the time limits, because on I have an Apple phone, and so you can go into there and it's like, oh, the time limit, and it's like I can't remember exactly what the wording says, but it's something like like use this for another 15 minutes or use this for another minute or something. I would find myself like ignoring basically the time limits, and the brick has helped me really like think about like, okay, I actually have to walk across the house and I have to tap my phone on this brick. Like, is that actually worth it? No, it's not. And so I'm actually not going to go into that app. But also with time limits too, not even necessarily the fact of like, okay, I don't want to go into that app, but it has helped me be even more intentional with how I'm spending that time, knowing that I only have a limited amount of time on that app per day. And this has been really, really helpful, specifically for social media platforms. Like, I love this for Instagram. I have a limit on my Instagram account for 45 minutes a day. And so I know, like, hey, I can use those 45 minutes, throughout the day. I can also use that all just in one setting. But what is really important is that I'm spending really intentional time on there. I'm not just scrolling and consuming just to consume. It's like, okay, I only have 45 minutes until my, limit comes up. And so I want to be really intentional with the time that I'm spending on there. And so that has been really, really helpful as well. Number 3 is no phone Sundays. That is my day to completely unplug. I do not get on social media. I really do try to stay off my phone completely. I teach Sunday school at my church, and so I use my phone for like teaching that. But other than that, I really truly try to stay off my phone completely. That is God's day, and that is also my day of like rest. It is my time to like recoup. It is time to just spend outside, spend time with my kids, and like obviously I'm spending time with my kids and outside, even outside of Sundays, but that is just like my day of like, okay, absolutely no social media, no business. And that has been really, really awesome. And I've been implementing that now for like 4 years. And that's been really cool to see like the benefits of like how much that fills my cup and how much that helps me moving into a new week. Number 4 is having notifications on apps like Telegram or WhatsApp or wherever you're communicating with people for work specifically, having those turned off. And so if I can't see it, I don't feel the pressure to respond, even if I do have the time to respond. Instead, I check in once a day, Monday through Friday, and that has been really, really awesome. Number 5 is checking my email every single day. I kind of mentioned this with number 1, but I do not check my email every single day. I stopped doing that. I only check on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that is plenty enough to respond to the emails and respond to them in a timely manner. Number 6 is I stopped being available all the time and setting boundaries for myself and for my clients. And that has been really, really awesome because I was available all the time. And setting those boundaries for myself and for my clients has really helped, I think, not just in the sense of like me feeling like has helped me as a coach being like, okay, I only have to hop in here once per day. But I also think it's really good to be an example to my clients. Like, even if my clients aren't business coaches, like they're also taking on their own clients. And I think it's really important to set the example as well of like, okay, you should also set boundaries for your clients. It's not healthy for you to be available all the time. And I also don't think that it's the most helpful thing for your clients' results for you to be available all the time, because then they just become reliant on you and they don't actually go out and like figure things out on their own. And like, yes, it's important for them obviously to have your support, but you can support them without being available 24/7. I also, number 7, stopped relying on one time payments and instead started to build monthly recurring revenue for more stability and safety when it comes to payments and just income in general. When I only made money if I was like if I was posting on social media, if I was in my emails or whatever, I felt like I had to be on 24/7. Like that really did make my business feel so much more like an emergency. Whereas now, like the monthly recurring revenue, I know that payments are going to be coming in. There's a lot more stability there, a lot more safety. And so I don't feel that like intense pressure of like, oh my gosh, I'm starting every single day off from zero, every week off from zero, every month off from zero. It's like, no, I actually already have this safety net, and any additional payments that come in, whether that's new monthly recurring revenue that I'm adding or one-time payments, like that's just adding on to this base that I've already built that has made me feel really, really stable and safe in my business. Number 8 is I stopped turning to my phone the first thing in the morning when I wake up. Instead, when I wake up in the morning, I roll out of bed, I cook breakfast for me and the girls, and I will spend some time usually outside if the weather is good. And then I will go work out, and then I'll take a shower, and then I sit down to work. So, usually around like 11 or 12, just depending on the days when I sit down to work. And that is the first time that like I grab my phone to actually like work. And sometimes it's not even my phone. Sometimes it'll just, be me sitting at the desktop and starting work that way. But I'm no longer like rolling out of bed or not even rolling out of bed and grabbing my phone and starting the workday. Number 9 is I stopped with high social media consumption. Comparison makes me feel behind, which then makes me it makes me feel like I have to try and keep up, and I don't love the feeling of that, and that creates an emergency in and of itself, which I know that that's obviously something that I should probably work on, is the comparison side of things. But an easy thing for me to do is just limit my consumption and limit how long I am spending on other people's content, and also to like weeding out, not maybe weeding out is not the best word, but really being paying attention to who I'm following and like curating the space on social media, curating my feed on social media has been really, really helpful as well. Number 10, and lastly, is I stopped micromanaging my team. Now, right now, I only have a virtual assistant, but over the years, I've had a lot of different team members, and this is applied to all the different team members that I've had. I hire people for a reason. It is to help me to make business easier and lighter. So, letting them work without me sitting over their shoulder and being like, oh my gosh, did you do this? Like, did you do it in this exact right way? It's like, actually, I've learned over the years, like of course there are some things where it's like you have to do it this way, or like that it's not necessarily the right way. But I have also learned over time where it's like it's actually not, there's not necessarily always a right and a wrong way. Just because I might do it in a way doesn't necessarily mean that if someone does it in a different way that it's wrong, if that makes sense. And so, me being a perfectionist, very much a control freak type A person, that has been a really hard lesson for me to learn. But as I have started to micromanage my team a lot less, it has freed up so much of my mental space and also just time in my business in general. And with me letting them do their job that I hired them to do, of course, that's going to make things feel like less of an emergency because those are less tasks that I have on my plate. So, those are the 10 things that I've stopped doing to stop treating my business and making my business feel like an emergency. I hope that those have been helpful for you. Again, these are just here as ideas. These are not things that you necessarily have to do, but I really want you to think about, when you wake up in the morning, how does your business make you feel? And when you're working in your business, are you constantly like in this state of like feeling rushed, always feeling behind, always feeling like, opportunities are leaving you, like clients are leaving you if you don't respond in that exact moment? Like, do you always feel like things are fleeting, or do you always feel like things are flowing and coming into you? And that's definitely a conversation and a question that I would be asking yourself. And if you have a coach, that's even a really great thing to ask them, is, asking, how can I make my business feel like less of an emergency based off of all the things that you know about me and, the way that I run my business. So I hope that this has been helpful. Thanks for tuning in.